Namaste everyone, welcome to YogaCandi. My name's Candace and today I have an all levels class for you. I would recommend if you're a beginner to have some yoga blocks handy, or you can have some pillows or something like that. I will give it as an option for you today, but I'm not actually going to use blocks for today's class for the rest of us, but those are there as options for you. Today's class is really going to be focused on the psoas muscles and the hips. So we're just going to try to release tension from that part of the body. So some of these positions may bring up emotions and sensations that you're not used to, and this is totally normal because the hips are a part of the body that store a lot of emotion. When we're stressed, we hold on to it in our hips and our shoulders, and as we start to open up that part of the body, it can be quite intense. So don't worry, even if you have a tear today, that's totally normal. But maybe you'll just enjoy it and enjoy these lovely sensations with me. There's really no need to have props, of course they're an option. And guys, if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe. If you have been here before, then welcome and thank you so much for continuing to practice with me. It means so much. And guys, do leave me a comment below because it's just lovely to hear how you got on in the class, and of course share if you really enjoyed it. So, without further ado, let's begin. Okay, everybody, let's start off in downward facing dog. Hands shoulder distance, feet hip distance. Raise the bum up to the sky. Hug your belly button back. Look between the legs and breathe deep. Raise your right leg, look between your palms and step this right leg as far forward as you can between your hands. So we're in a runner's lunge. Start to bounce the hips, just warming up through that psoas muscle. Maybe you can slightly straighten the front leg and then bend it again. Just remember, you can always use your blocks here if needed. Look forwards. Maybe you can bring your hands to your knee if that's more comfortable and just stay here. Or you can rest down into a low lunge. The closer the back knee is to the front foot, the easier the stretch will be. So just give into gravity, allow the hips to sink low. And then exhale, straighten the front leg. This is half split pose, half Manasana, and lift the toes up towards the sky. You can always use your blocks here to place your hands onto them. You can bend the knee as much as you need to. And then roll forward back into your low lunge, finding a wave just like this. So low lunge, half split. Inhale as you come forward for the low lunge. Exhale as you roll back, straightening the front leg. Keep your hips squared. Inhale forwards. Exhale back. Taking one more here. Inhale forward, exhale back. Come forwards back into your runner's lunge and inhale your arms to the sky for a high lunge, bending into the front knee, keeping the hips forward, the front knee at about a 90-degree angle to the back of the mat. Your hands can either rest on your hips, be up in the sky, or at your heart center. And step forward into mountain. Inhale the hands to the sky, look up as they touch. Exhale them down. Step the right foot backwards into a high lunge. Hands to the sky, or at the heart center, or on your hips. Those are your choices. You can just breathe into this just for a minute. And then slowly come down into a runner's lunge on the other side this time. Find a little rocking or bouncing motion just to stretch out on the right side. You can use your blocks if needed, or maybe bring your hands to the front knee and just really sink low. And then slowly take the back knee down to the floor into a low lunge. Remember to use your blocks or your knee as a prop if needed. And the closer the back knee is to the front heel, the easier the stretch will be for you. Breathe into it. Exhale, send the tailbone backwards, straightening through the front foot. Toes face the sky. Stretching out in our half split pose, half Hanumanasana. And then coming forward, inhale into our low lunge once again. So we're going to find our waves. Exhale back, straighten the front leg. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. And inhale forward, taking one more. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Untuck the back toes, come back into a runner's lunge. Taking a little stretch, plant the palms nice and firmly, shoulder distance. Step back to a plank. You can take an easy plank by coming down to the knees if needed. And we're going to chaturanga. Exhale, draw the elbows close to the body, come all the way down to the floor. Inhale, baby cobra or full cobra. Exhale down. Send your tailbone up to the sky, downward facing dog. Look forwards, and we're going to come into a pigeon pose. So draw this right knee towards the right elbow and place it on the ground. Keep the heel as close to the body as you want it to be, or you can open the hip out and have the shin almost a 90-degree angle to the front of the mat. You have to have very open hips for that. So this is an all levels class. I'd recommend keeping that heel close towards the body. Make sure there's comfort. Play around a little bit, just opening up through that hip and extending through the back leg, coming down onto the right bum. If this is uncomfortable, you can use your prop underneath your right hip and just prop your hips up a little higher. This is getting the hip on the right side, giving that a stretch, and it's also stretching through the psoas and through the front of the hip on the left side as well. You should be able to feel that. Just make sure that this left hip is not lifted, that it's in line with this right hip, and that they're both facing forwards. Keep up on your hands if this is more comfortable than leaning forward. If you have slightly more open hips, you may find it comfortable to come forward onto your forearms. The leg that's forward, make sure the toes are engaged. So you're pointing the toes up towards the top of the mat. You're engaging the foot to protect the knee. Wherever you are, just take a few deep breaths in this hip opener. If you're down on your forearms, come back up. Untuck the back toes. Send the hips a little forward. Rotate that front foot so it's in line with the knee. And then with the power, lift that foot off the ground and then step forward back into your runner's lunge once again, taking a little bounce. From your runner's lunge, step forward, hold on to each elbow, bend the knees and fold forwards. You can straighten the legs if your hamstrings are open enough for that. But wherever you are, just hang here in your forward fold, keep your big toes together, heels about 1 inch apart. Take your hands to your shins, look forward, half lift, and then fold once again. Plant your hands and step your right foot backwards, so you're in a runner's lunge on the opposite side this time. Taking a bounce, stretching out through this psoas on the right side and through the hip. Plant the hands nice and firmly, and we're going to take this left knee behind the left palm and the left heel close to the body. So we're back into our pigeon pose on the other side this time. Extend through the back leg. Just make sure you've got comfort in this pose. There's no pain in this front knee. If there is, you need to just adjust the body a little bit. And maybe prop your left hip up onto a cushion or onto your block. So you can stay up on the hands, just breathing into this hip opening pose. Just allow your hips to sink down and for them to both be facing forwards. If you can and you have the flexibility, you can come down to the forearms, breathing here, hanging over the legs. Come back up to your hands if you're on your forearms, and we're going to lean over towards the left hip so that we can bring this right knee in line with the right hip. We're going into deer pose, which is a yin posture. So both legs are at a 90-degree angle to each other. I'll face you. So the right hip is in line with the right knee and the foot is in line with the knee. Then look at your, this is the left leg is forward. Look at your right leg. The knee should be in line with the hip. And look at the foot. The heel should be in line with the knee. And from here, we're just going to start to lean forwards over this left leg. So just lean forward and start to play around with it, maybe moving over towards the right. Trying to keep this right hip down towards the ground. Make sure it's not lifted too high. If it's not possible, just sit up tall. Sit up tall through the spine, placing your hands on the ground or onto your blocks just to give you some more stability. But if you can always lean forward, maybe all the way forwards over this left knee, all the way down to your forearms. So wherever you are, just breathe. This is opening up through both hip flexors. And then move yourself back up. Keep your legs where they are and just start to lift up through the left knee and then lift up through the right knee. So keep your legs where they are, and we're going to just rotate into the other side. So keep rotating until the right shin is down on the ground and the left knee is down on the ground. So now you should actually be in the perfect position, but you may need to adjust the legs a little bit. So make sure the right knee is in line with the right hip, the right heel is in line with the right knee, so that's a 90-degree angle. Look at the left leg behind you, left hip in line with the knee, knee in line with the heel. So same thing again. You can just stay up tall through the spine, twisting towards the right knee. Maybe you can come forwards and start to fold over the top of the right knee. Maybe play around with just moving your hands towards the left, looking to the left, and then come back to the right again. And then perhaps just start to come down to your forearms over the top of the right leg. Only if that's possible for your body. Don't worry if it's not. It can be quite intense, especially if you're a beginner. So engage your feet. Make sure your toes on the right side are facing up towards the right, and the left toes are also engaged at a 90-degree angle to the shin. Breathe into this. And then come up onto your hands if you're on your forearms. And the same again. Start to lift through the right knee and then lift through the left knee. Open your legs out wide into a wide-legged forward fold. You can just place your hands behind your back if you can't come forward at all. But if you can, start to lean forwards. Maybe find a little rocking motion from side to side, only if that's possible. And remember, you can always bend your knees as much as you need to. Engage the feet up towards the sky. And then draw your knees together. Find a comfortable seated position. We're going to extend through the right arm, lock the elbow, drop the head to the left, and breathe into the shoulder stretch, shoulder and neck stretch. You can play around with moving the head, looking down at the floor, and then tilting it up to the sky, just feeling where, as you move the head slowly, where you feel the stretch. You'll find that it changes where you feel the stretch, depending on where the face is directed. If you find a sweet spot, stay there and just breathe into it. And then engage the hands. Elbow is still locked, and slowly raise the arm to a 90-degree angle with the shoulder. And then release. Let's take it over to the other side. Swap the position of your legs. The other foot in front or on top. Extend through the left arm, lock the elbow, fingertips on the floor. Drop the head to the right. Shoulders away from the ears. Start to move the head, looking to the sky very slowly. Where do you feel the stretch? And then very slowly taking the gaze to the floor. Are you noticing it changing, the stretch where you feel it? When you find a really good spot that feels good for your body, where you need to stretch, stay there. And then engage the fingers, Keep them all nice and straight and spread apart like that. Keep the elbow locked and start to slowly raise the hand in line with your shoulder. Breathing into the stretch. And then very slowly raise the arm, lower the arm down. Hands to knees and slowly find a couple of neck rolls from side to side. And back to center, give your spine a little wiggle. Sit up tall. We're just going to take a very quick but wonderful mindful meditation together. So sit up tall, tops of the hands to the knees. Close your eyes, roll your shoulders back and down. Breathe naturally. Taking this moment for you. You deserve this moment of silence. Trust that the practice you have just done is all that you need to serve you and your body today. Allow your thoughts to pass. Pay them no attention. Be here in this moment. Become aware of your whole body. Become aware of the sensations of the body. And become aware of the silence between the noise. You can stay here as long as you like or end your practice with me. Wiggling the fingertips and then the toes. Rotating the wrists in one direction and then in the other. Raise the hands above the head, touch the palms and draw them to your heart center. Bow your head. Namaste, everybody. You can open your eyes. For those of you that are continuing to meditate, I hope you enjoy this moment of silence. And to the rest of you, thank you so much for joining me today on the mat. I really, really appreciate each and every one of you. Until next time, namaste.